Good morning, dear students. Today, let us discuss about the new lesson, that is Gentleman of Rio en Medio. Here, gentleman means civilized person. Gentleman means civilized person, and the Rio en Medio means it is one of the place which is situated in Santa Fe County, New Mexico, USA. That means United States of America. So Rio en Medio means it is a name of one of the place of USA or New Mexico, USA or United States of America. Okay, gentleman means civilized person, and Rio en Medio means it is a name of a particular place of USA. Okay, let us discuss first and foremost about the writer of this lesson. The writer of this lesson is Juan A. Cedillo. Juan A. Cedillo. Let us discuss about the author of this lesson, or the narrator of this lesson. He was Juan A. Cedillo. Juan A. Cedillo, his life duration or living duration was 1902 1982. 1902 1982. I was born in New Mexico. New Mexico is his native place. That means he was born in New Mexico, which is situated in USA or United States of America. He worked as a lawyer and held public office. Basically, he was a lawyer. Lawyer means the person who discuss or who argue in the court in favor of his client. In favor of his client, this kind of person is called as lawyer. So basically, he was a lawyer and held public office. He wrote about Mexico and southwestern United States. The above story is based on an actual legal case. So the story it was prescribed about by the author in this lesson. It was a real story, or story is based on an actual legal case. Okay, it is the brief introduction about the narrator of this lesson. Dear students, let us start this lesson now. Before we begin this lesson, I would like to read this lesson first and foremost. When I begin my model reading, all of you listen my reading and look at your books with much more attention or intention. Shall I begin the model reading now? Okay. Gentleman of Rio en Medio, which is by Juan A. Cedillo. It took months of negotiation to come to an understanding with the old man. He was in no hurry. What he had the most of was time. He lived up Rio en Medio, where his people had been for hundreds of years. He tilled the same land they had tilled. His house was small and wretched but quiet. The little creek ran through his land. His orchard was gnarled and beautiful. The day of the sale, he came into the office. His coat was old, green, and faded. I thought of Senator Catron, who has been such a power with these people up there in the mountains. Perhaps it was one of his old Prince Albert's. He wore gloves. They were old and torn, and his fingertips showed through them. He carried a cane, but it was only the skeleton of a worn-out umbrella. Behind him walked one of his innumerable kin, a dark young man with eyes like a gas. The old man bowed to all of us in the room. Then he removed his hat and clothes slowly and carefully. Chaplin once did that in a picture in a bank. He was the janitor. Then he handed his things to the boy who stood obediently behind the old man's chair. There was a great deal of conversation about Ryan and his family. He was very proud of his large family. Finally, we got down to business. Yes, he would sell as he had agreed for $1,200 in cash. We would buy and the money was ready. Don Anselmo, I said to him in Spanish, we have made a discovery. You remember that we sent that surveyor, that engineer up there to survey your land so as to make the deed. Well, he finds that you own more than 8 acres. He tells us that your land extends across the river and that you own almost twice as much as you thought. He didn't know that. And now, Don Anselmo, I added, these Americans are Bunagenta, that means they are good people and they are willing to pay you for the additional land as well at the same rate per acre, so that instead of $1,200 you will get almost twice as much and the money is here for you. The old man hung his head for a moment in thought. Then he stood up and started at me. Friend, he said, I do not like to have you speak to me in that manner. I kept still and led him away. He said, I know these Americans are good people and that is why I have agreed to sell to them, but I do not care to be insulted. I have agreed to sell my house and land for $1,200 and that is the price. I argued with him, but it was useless. Finally, he signed the deed and took the money, but refused to take more than the amount agreed upon. Then he shook hands all around, put on his raised gloves, took his stick and walked out with the boy behind him. A month later, my friends had moved into Rio en Medio. They had replastered the old house, pruned the trees, patched the fence and moved in summer. One day, they came back to the office to complain. The children of the village were overrunning. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. The children of the village were overrunning their property. They came every day and played under the trees, built little play fences around them, and took blossoms. When they were spoken to, they only laughed and talked back good naturedly in Spanish. I sent a messenger up to the mountains for Don Anselmo. It took a week to arrange another meeting. When he arrived, he repeated his previous preliminary performance. He wore the same faded cutaway, carried the same stick, and was accompanied by the boy again. He shook hands all around, sat down with the boy behind his chair, and talked about the weather. Finally, I broached the subject. Don Anselmo, about the ranch you sold to these people. They are good people and want to be your good neighbors always. When you sold to them, you signed a document, a deed, and in that deed you agreed to several things. One thing was that they were to have the complete possession of the property. Now, Don Anselmo, it seems that every day the children of the village overrun the orchard and spend most of their time there. We would like to know if you, as the most respected man in the village, could not stop them from doing so in order that these people might enjoy their new home more in peace. Don Anselmo stood up. We have all learned to love these Americans, he said, because they are good people and good neighbors. I sold them my property because I knew they were good people, but I did not sell them the trees in the orchard. This was bad, Don Anselmo, I pleaded. When you signs a deed and sells all property, one sells also everything that grows on the land, and those trees, every one of them are on the land and inside the boundaries of what you sold. Yes, I admit it, he said. You know, he added, I am the oldest man in the village. Almost everyone there is my relative, and all the children of Rio and Medio are my sobrinos and nietos, my descendants. Every time a child has been born in Rio and Medio since I took possession of the house from my mother, I have planted a tree for that child. The trees in that orchard are not mine, Senor. They belong to the children of the village. Every person in Rio and Medio born since the railroad came to Santa Fe owns a tree in that orchard. I did not sell the trees because I could not. They are not mine. There was nothing we could do. Legally, we owned the trees, but the old man had been so generous, refusing what amounted for a fortune for him. It took most of the following winter to buy the trees individually from the descendants of Don Anselmo in the valley of Rio and Medio. Dear children, it is the model reading of this lesson. Now let us discuss very detailedly about this lesson, Gentlemen of Rio and Medio, which is by Juan A. Cedillo. Dear children, before we went into this lesson, you remember one thing. The hero of this lesson, his name was Don Anselmo. Don Anselmo, he was such a principled person. principle. Dear children, you are very well known about the homophones. I have already told about the meaning and the examples of this homophones. Homophones means the words they are pronounced same, but their meaning and letters are changed. That kind of words in English are called as homophones. In English, we are seeing two principles. One is P-R-I-N-C-I-P-L-E and another one is P-R-I-N-C-I-P-A-L, principle. What is the difference between these words here? P-R-I-N-C-I-P-L-E, here P-R-I-N-C-I-P-A-L. So, here the words are changed. Here the spelling of these words are changed, but the meaning also changed, but the pronounce is same. This kind of words are called as homophones. So, here I would like to say about this word principle or principle. Principle means such a obedient person, such a civilized person. So that is principal. Another one principal is head of the school or head of the college is called as principal. So it is the difference between these two words, spellings and meanings, but the pronunciation is same between these two words. So these kind of words are called as homophones. So my intention is here, Don Anselmo, the aged person of the place Rio en Medio. He was the aged or eldest or older person of the village or valley Rio en Medio. So in this lesson, how Don Anselmo was principled person. We looked about that. How he was principled. How the person he was principled. So here very different, very important 2-mark question will be arise from this task. How you are say Don Anselmo was a principled person. They ask the question like this. So, in the end of this lesson, we seen that he was such a principled person. Laterly, we see how the person he was. So, I would like to begin this lesson now. Gentlemen of Rio en Medio, which is by Juan A.A. Cedillo. Juan A.A. Cedillo. The writer or the narrator of this lesson is Juan A.A. Cedillo. Shall we begin the class now? Okay. It took months of negotiation to come to an understanding with the old man. Here there was a deal. There was a deal between them or with them, the narrator and the old Don Anselmo. So, when they decided to come to an official discussion, negotiation means official discussion, to come to an understanding with the old man, it took 1 month. It took 1 month. The deal was between them. That deal or the negotiation to come to an understanding with the old man, that took 1 month. ago or 1 month time. He was in no hurry. Why did it take 1 month? Because he was in no hurry. He was not any hurry to that deed or to that deal. So it took 1 month negotiation. He was in no hurry. Hurry means ಅವಸರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲಸದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇವನಿಗೆ ಅವಸರ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನೊಂದು ಒಪ್ಪಂದ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇವನಿಗೆ ಅವಸರ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ 1 ತಿಂಗಳು ಟೈಮು ತಗೊಂಡಿದೆ. What he had the most of was time, because he gave his much more attention to the time. Once we lost our precious time, we cannot get it back once again in our life. So the time is very important in our life. So Don Anselmo also, he had the most of was time. He lived up in Rio and Medio, where his people had been for hundreds of years. That means he was lived up in Rio and Medio. He was lived up in Rio and Medio, where his people or where his ancestors had been for hundreds of years there. So he was lived there. He tilled the same land they had tilled. Here tilled means cultivated. Cultivated. The process of cultivation the land is called as till. Is called as till or tilled. Tilled means cultivated. So he cultivated the same land they had tilled, because when he get his ancestors' land, so they were once upon a time they were also tilled that same land. So he tilled the same land they had tilled. His house was small when he was lived up in Rio and Medio, where his house was small. His house was small and it was wretched. Wretched means ruin. Where he was lived in a small house in the valley of Rio and Medio, that house was wretched or ruin, but it was small, but it was quaint. Quaint means here unusual and attractive, especially in an old-fashioned way. It was the old-fashioned, very attractive house that was quaint. The little creek ran through his land. Creek means here a small river. A small river or a small narrow stream is called as creek. In that land, that valley's land, a creek, that is the little creek, ran through his land and his orchard. Orchard means here a piece of land in which fruit trees are grown. It is a piece of land in which fruit trees are grown. It is called as orchard. So his orchard was gnarled, that means a branch of a tree with twisted hard lumps, and that orchard was looking very beautifully. So it is the appearance of his land, how the land he was cultivated or he was tilled. So it is the first paragraph of this lesson. The day of the sale, he came into the office. Here I have told about the deed in the beginning of this lesson. Deed means here Don Anselmo here wanted to sell his land to American people. He just wanted to sell means Marata Madu. Sell his land to American people. So that intention, that negotiation took 1 month time to come to a conclusion. So the day of the sale, he came into his office. His coat was old, green and faded. The coat which was wore by him, wore means it is the past tense form of wear. It is the past tense form of wear. So he wore the coat, or his coat was old. That means he wore the old coat and its color was grey. The coat which was worn by him, its color was grey and it was faded. The coat which was worn by him, it was faded. The green color of his coat was faded. Faded means dimmed. It lost its color because of the sun's heat or by the washing of the clothes. So he wore the old coat, its color was grey and it was faded. Faded means dimmed. Its color was dimmed. He thought of Senator Catron when he entered into his office room. The narrator thought about Don Anselmo like a Senator Catron. Who was Senator Catron? Senator Catron, Thomas Benton Catron, a senator from New Mexico in the year of 1912 to 1917. He was the person who elected as a senator from New Mexico between the year of 1912 to 1917. So, when he entered into his office room, Don Anselmo just looked like a Senator Catron, the poet, the narrator just thought like that, who has been such a power with these people up there in the mountains. When he entered into his office room, the narrator just thought about him as a Senator Catron. According to the narrator, he was just looking like Senator Catron. Perhaps it was one of his old Prince Albus. When he wore the coat which was worn by him, it was not belonged to him. It was his ancestor, Prince Albus. So, perhaps it was one of his old Prince Albus. He wore the old green coat and also he wore gloves. They were old and torn. Not only his coat was old, but the gloves which wore by him, they were also old and torn. Torn means once again ruined or wretched. So they were also old and ruined and his fingertips showed through them. His fingertips showed through them because they were old and torn. He carried a cane. Cane means here walking stick. Cane means here walking stick. He carried a cane, but it was only the skeleton of worn out umbrella. It is not the real walking stick, but it was the skeleton of a worn out umbrella. Skeleton of worn out umbrella. Behind him walked one of his innumerable, that means lot of. Behind him walked one of his one innumerable or lot of kin, a dark young man with eyes like a gazelle. There was a person who was behind to him. He was a innumerable kin. That means kin means relative. Don Anselmo had a lot of relatives in that place. Among them, a black young man or a dark young man behind him, and his eyes were like a gazelle. His eyes were like a gazelle. Gazelle means a deer. The old man, when the Don Anselmo entered into his office room, he bowed all of them. Bowed all of them. That means bowed means is just he bowed his head in front of them for the respect or to give them to the respect. So the old man bowed to all of them in the room. Us means here them. So he bowed to all of them in the room. Then he removed, when he bowed all of them, then he removed his gloves very slowly and carefully. Here you remember one thing, you look at about this point. Why did the Don Anselmo remove his gloves slowly and carefully? Because then he removed his hat and gloves slowly and carefully. Not only he removed his gloves slowly and carefully, but also his hat. Both the hat and his gloves were removed by Dan Anselmo slowly and carefully because they were worn out and ruined. They were old and worn out. Because of that thing, he removed them slowly and carefully. Chaplin once did that in a picture in a bank. He was the janitor. Janitor means here guard, watchman. When Charlie Chaplin, you are very well known about him, Charlie Chaplin. In a picture, Charlie Chaplin did that in a picture in a bank. Just he was acting as a janitor or watchman. Then he handed his things to the boy who stood obediently behind the old man's child. When he removed his hat and clothes, just he handed those things to the boy who stood obediently behind to old man's child. So, it is the explanation of the third para. Then let us go to the fourth paragraph. There was a great deal of conversation about Rhine and his family. When Don Anselmo entered his office room, when he bowed to them, then they were discussed, or when they were talked about the Ryan and their family. He was very proud of his large family. Finally, they got down to business. After the discussion about their family and the Rhine and atmosphere, they got down to business. Business means here deal. Deal means here Don Anselmo just wanted to sell his land to American people. Yes, we would sell as he had agreed for $1,200 in cash. Here, the deal was just Don Anselmo wanted to sell his land for $1,200. For $1,200. It was the deal, or it was the deal. So, when Don Anselmo wanted to sell his land for $1,200 amount for 8 acres. So, he was ready to sell his land for $1,200. They would buy, and the money was ready. They took their money for his land, the money was ready. Don Anselmo, the narrator, began the discussion with him. He said to him in Spanish, because Don Anselmo was talking in a Spanish language. So, the narrator began the discussion with him in a Spanish language, and he continued, "We have made a discovery." The narrator told to Don Anselmo they had made a discovery. Here they had made a discovery. They have made a discovery means the his field selling land was what we call that measured means ನಾವು ಅಳತೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗೆ ಅವರು ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಅಳತೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಸೆಂಟ್ ದಟ್ ಸರ್ವೇಯರ್, ದಟ್ engineer, when they decided to measure his selling land, they sent to the surveyor and the engineer for measure his land. So they sent surveyor and the engineer up there to survey his land so as to make the deal. Before they buy his land, just they wanted to measure his land. So they sent the engineer and the surveyor to measure his land. Well, he finds that you own more than 8 acres. The narrator told in front of the Don Anselmo, when they made discovery, they come to conclusion that Don Anselmo had more than 8 acres. He had more than 8 acres. He tells us that your land extends across the river and that you own almost twice as much as you thought. That means when they measured his land, the surveyor told to the narrator his land almost 1 to double. He had his land almost 1 to double. The surveyor told this thing to the narrator. He did not know that, and now Don Anselmo, I added, these Americans, the people who are just ready to buy his land, they were American people. So the narrator told about the American people. American peoples are here the buyers of the Dan Anselmo's land. So he told about them. American peoples are Bunagenta. That means Bunagenta, it is a Spanish word. It means in English, they are good people. So the writer told about the American people, they were good people and they are willing to pay him for the additional land as well. You find out this point. You just remember about this point. When the surveyor told them is Dan Anselmo's land was almost 1 to double, the American people were willing to pay almost 1 to double amount for his extra land. For his extra land. So the writer said about that matter, they are willing to pay him for the additional land as well at the same rate per acre, so that instead of $1,200 he would get almost twice as much, and the money is here for him. So the writer told to Dan Anselmo, the Americans are willing to pay almost 1 to double amount for his extra land. For his extra land. So it was the discussion was happened between them. Dan Anselmo had more than 8 acres, though. So the good people, the Americans, they were good people and they are willing to pay more amount for his more or extra land. So it was prescribed in this paragraph. When he heard the thing about that, Dan Anselmo hung his head for a moment in thought. Just he thought for a while. Then he stood up and stared at the narrator. When he thought for a while, then he stood up and he looked about the narrator. Friend, he said, he just called out the narrator as his friend. Ye do not like to have you speak to him in that manner. You do not want to speak in that manner. Just Dan Anselmo requested to the narrator. I kept still and let him have his say. I know these Americans are good people and that is why I have agreed to sell to them, but I do not care to be insulted. Yeah, ironically or indirectly, Dan Anselmo told to the narrator, you did not try to insult me for gave me the extra amount for my extra land. I do not want to extra amount for my extra land. So he just wanted to accept only $1,200 for his land. The writer agreed to sell, Dan Anselmo, he had agreed to sell his house and land for $1,200 and that is the price. When the narrator offered him to take extra amount for his extra land, but Dan Anselmo did not want to take extra amount for his extra land. So he just wanted to take only $1,200 according to their deal, not to the extra amount. So it is the one point we could say that, or we will be say that he was such a principal person, because when they offered him to take extra land for his extra money, but he did not take to the extra amount for his extra money. So this one point said he was such a principal person. He was not greedy. Don Anselmo was not a greedy person. So he just wanted to take $1,200 for his 8 acres or more than 8 acres land. Dear children, it is the explanation of these 5 paragraphs. In the next class, I would explain another or ahead paragraphs of this lesson. So, when you come to the next day to the school, you should make your homework regarding to the questions which are prescribed in the page number 48, question number 2nd and 3rd. You should write your answers for these 2nd and 3rd questions. Okay, so let us stop this class now. In the next class, I will continue this lesson from the ahead paragraphs of this lesson. Shall we stop this now? Okay, thank you.